Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first episode of How to Crack CUET 2025. In today's episode, we are going to discuss some of the changes that have been proposed for the CUET undergraduate 2025 exam. I'm sure at this point of time, all of you must be prepping up for your board exams. But at the back of your mind, I'm sure all of you also might have some anxiety, some concerns as to what you want to do after your class 12. And of course, CUET is a very good option that all of you can exercise. And to that extent, it's a good time to understand how CUET 2025 is looking different from last year's CUET. Because there have been certain significant changes that have been proposed. As we speak, UGC is also taking feedbacks from teachers, from the educationalists, and so in the duration of the next couple of weeks, we will get a clearer picture. So I would request all of you to keep watching this space so that you do not miss out on your preparations for CUET 2025. And when the time comes, which will be May, June of 2025, you will be armed not only with the best information, the most genuine information, but you will also have all the tools at hand which will help you in getting to some of the best colleges in India, right? So without wasting any time, let us quickly understand that in today's episode, what are the things that we are going to cover. First, we'll understand, give a brief introduction, what CUET is. Also, then we will talk about certain changes, as we mentioned, in CUET 2025. Now, what are the new subject choices and the eligibilities? Then we look into the exam pattern and format, and also whether anything has changed vis-a-vis CUET 2024. And is it something that will help us, or is it something that's that's added a little complexity? We'll see all of that. Also, the exam patterns, the formats, what are the subjects which are no longer on offer this year? Also, what are the implications that these changes are going to bring in to the students? All of you who are going to write your CUET exams in 2025, and also a summarization of these changes. So this is pretty much the agenda that we have for this episode 1. As we mentioned, please keep following us so that you don't miss out on any important aspect of CUET 2025. Now, what is CUET UG exam? This might be the first question in your mind. Now, as we know, 3 years ago, the CUET, when it started, it was in, the inception of CUET. It was a common exam which was conducted for multiple colleges, not only just in Delhi University, but also a lot of centralized colleges, universities that said, let's, instead of having multiple exams, let's have a common entrance exam so that students who do not stay in, let's say, Delhi, and sometimes they shy away from applying to these colleges, they get a platform in their own very cities. They don't have to go to Delhi, they don't have to go to multiple colleges, fill multiple forms. So it was made a very, the process was made very easy so that anybody sitting in any of the remotest of the cities in India gets a genuine chance to study at some of the best colleges that CUET offers. So CUET, the full form of CUET is Common University Entrance Test for undergraduate admissions, meaning this will enable you to study for BAs or BComs or BScs or any course that you want to pursue after your class 12. Now, why the changes? As I mentioned, CUET is not a very old exam. Okay, it is something that every year has seen a lot of changes. This year, the changes are a little significant because please understand, in the last three editions, there have been certain challenges that have been faced by CUET, and because of that, a lot of students, have seen very anxious moments in CUET. Now, what they are trying to do is they are trying to ensure that it is a more comfortable, it's comfortable, it's well executed, it does not make the student fraternity anxious. And so to solve all of those issues, the new edition of CUET 2025 and the recommendation for changes. So they want to make this admission process very smooth, also very fair, and also very timely. Because one of the controversies that CUET has come into is that the results have started getting very late, the CUET, because it's such a mammoth, it's such a gigantic exam to have, to hold 20 lakh students writing CUET, and hence the complexity. This year, they are trying to ensure that it becomes smoother, simpler, and also fairer, and hence, the entire exam becomes more convenient for the students. So what are the key changes that CUET is talking about? Now, in the last three editions, CUET has struggled to see whether they want a completely online exam or do they want a pen and paper exam. There are pros and cons in both of these systems, and that's why they have dabbled with a lot of changes. For first time was only online, then last year they said, okay, let's do pen paper plus some exams must be conducted in the traditional pen and paper format, some should be conducted as computer based tests. But this year they are saying that all the exams are going to be computer based tests. So they have removed this entire pen and paper format from CUET 2025. Now, this is a significant change because now students will need to write their mocks online. When they practice for the exam, they will have to practice it in the online format to get aligned with how the real exam is going to be, right? And at CP, when our students prepare for CUET, we have lab facilities, we have facilities of writing the exam through a computer-based test. So you get all of those advantages when you enroll for CP. Also, one drastic change that has been incorporated in CUET 2025 is in terms of the number of subjects that you could select. Last year, the total number of subjects were 60. This also included the languages that were offered in the section 1 and section 1A and section 1Bs. This year, however, as we mentioned, to reduce the complexity of the exam, the number of choices that you will have been reduced to 37. So from 60, a major shift, just 37 subjects to choose from. Now, last year, if you know, some of the exams, some of the tests were conducted in 45 minutes, but some of the subjects were conducted in a 60-minute exam. For example, physics, if you chose as a domain subject, you would get 60 minutes. But let's say if you chose history, then it was only 45 minutes. However, this time they are saying that all the subjects, all the tests, the duration is going to be 1 hour, that is 60 minutes. Irrespective of what subject you choose, it is going to be a 60-minute exam. So this clears all the chaos and the confusion around which particular subject will have what duration of test, but now they have standardized it. Again, in its vision of making the process fairer, simpler, so that nobody can say, oh, for this particular subject, you get more time. So maybe the students get a certain type of advantage because they have more time on hand. Now, all of those things have been removed because they made a standard 60-minute for all the subjects. In terms of the number of domain subjects, if you remember, last year they had added 3 new domain subjects. This year, however, because they realized that By adding domains, they are only adding on to the complexities of the exam. They have reduced the domain subjects to 23. Okay, so you see that they have removed 6 subjects from the choice of domains. Also, from the language section, which was section 1, the number of languages that were offered last year were 33, which have been reduced to 13 in the CUET 2025 edition. Again, to make it more simple, to make it more easy to handle, and to reduce the overall complexity around the exam, this measure has been taken. Now, when we come to the subject choices and eligibility, now this is where the major reform has come in. Okay, this is the new education policy, that's been talked about by the government for the last couple of years, and this seems to be a fruition, a sort of a fruition of the new education policy, because what they are doing now, which stands in sharp contrast to what was the norm till last year, because last year the students could only choose from the subjects that they had studied in class 12. Especially for Delhi University colleges, that was the mandate there, that you only, if you have studied a particular subject, that's the only exam, that's the only subject you can take. However, this year they have gotten in this flexibility, and CUET is saying that irrespective of what subject you studied in your class 11th and 12th, you have the freedom to choose from whatever domains are available, you can choose. This is a sharp difference, and this is such a huge opportunity for all of you who, after 2 years of 11th and 12th, find that maybe those subjects are not your calling. That's not a career choice you would want to make. And earlier, if we know, a science student could move to an arts, the BA, you could do an BA or a commerce, but that was not the option for humanities students. However, this year there has been a drastic change. There's a flexibility to choose any subject regardless of what your subjects were in your class 11th and 12th. Also, last year, the maximum number of subjects that a student could choose was 6. Again, to make the process simpler, this year they have reduced that choice to 5 subjects. What we are seeing in CUET in the last 3 editions is every year the number of subjects that can be chosen are getting reduced. Last year it was 6, the year before it was 9. So from 9 they moved to 6, and this year they have basically said that you cannot choose more than 5 subjects. And the reason is very simple. As I mentioned, 20 lakh students writing the biggest exam, that India hosts. So giving so many choices not only confuses the students, but also it's very the infrastructure that is required to conduct these exams, that was taking a toll, and the sessions were getting unnecessarily delayed. So to that extent, what we are seeing as a pattern is that they are reducing the number of subjects, and this year it stands at 5. So you can choose 1 from section 1 and 4 from section 2, or you can say choose 1 plus 3 plus 1, 1 from section 1, then 3 from section 2, and general test if you write. So that's 5. So this is how you can choose this year's subjects. And the advantage here is that you can study with more focus. And since you have a flexibility, you can actually pursue the subjects if you think which are different from what you have studied in class 12, and this gives you a huge window to switch your choice of your career choices and your areas of interest. And this should be an opportunity that all of you should be exercising. So basically, if you made a wrong selection of subjects in your class 11th and 12th, earlier it used to be you get stuck onto it for your life, but now, as per the new NPC guidelines, this is going to change. and this should be taken as a huge opportunity for all of you. In terms of the exam pattern and the format, there has been again the same principle. Make the process simpler, make it less confusing, make it easier to execute. All of those key points have been taken into consideration, and now there is a uniformity that we are seeing in the exam. For example, last year, if you wrote CUET, you got 50 questions and you had to attempt 40. And so plus 5 was, for all the correct answers. So for basically 40 into plus 5 is 200, so maximum of 200 marks. But this year they are changing it. For all the subjects, as we had discussed in the prior slide, the time duration is going to be 60 minutes and the number of questions will be at 50, which means now you have to attempt all the 50 questions. 50 out of 50 questions will need to be attempted in CUET 2025 edition. This is in contrast to last year when you got a choice. You had to only attempt 40 of the 50 questions. This was also, making students very anxious because they did not know that if they selected a particular option for a question and later on they wanted to change, how did they go about it? It was basically chaotic, and probably that's the reason, taking on the feedback of the students, this change has been incorporated. This makes it simpler and less nerve breaking for the students. So all questions have been made compulsory in under CUET 2025. Previously 200 marks, as I mentioned, for domain subjects and 250 marks for general test, because as I mentioned, you had to attempt 40 questions. Plus 5 was for each correct answer, so 40 into plus 5 is 200 marks for domain subjects. And for general test, it was 250 marks because you had to attempt 50 questions out of 60 and plus 5 again, so 15 to plus 5 was 250. So this time the uniform marking will be 250 marks for all. So now domain subjects, you have to attempt 50 questions, and if you get all of them right, the maximum marks that you can achieve in this section is 15 to plus 5, that is 250. And for general test, as it is 50 questions were there last year also, 15 to plus 5 is a maximum score of 250. So this is how the exam pattern and the marking schemes have been changed in this year's edition. As we mentioned, some of the subjects have been deleted. They are no longer under the list of the subjects that have been offered. So 20 foreign languages have been removed from the language section. And 6, as we had discussed in the prior slide, 6 domain-specific subjects have also been removed from the list of subjects that are on offer. So from 29, it has moved to 23 domain subjects, and 6 subjects have been removed. The focus is now on core academic subjects. Instead of bombarding the students with the choice of non-core subjects, this year the focus is on core academic subjects. Again, the objective being to make the entire process simpler, easy to conduct, and so to give the students less anxious moments, because the last 3 years we see students even till the last point getting very anxious with the choice of subjects and how they could because there was a plethora of subjects and there were subjects which nobody really studied and very few takers were there. So this year they have just removed it, and that would make the entire exam so much simpler and easy to conduct, and hopefully the sessions will start on time from next year. So that being the objective, these changes have been incorporated. Now the big question comes, all these changes, how will they impact the students? Is it a good news, or is it something that we need to be worried about? Now, this year, they have tried to standardize the process. Instead of giving too many options, too many choices, this year, they are making everything simpler. The entire process of subject selection has become quite simple, as we can see. The evaluation process is also in turn become simpler, as we saw. All the domain subjects, GT, every paper will have 50 questions, standardized. In terms of the duration, it's 60 minutes, irrespective of what subject. So the entire evaluation process has been streamlined to increase the efficiency of the entire, the way it's conducted. Flexibility, as we discussed, the biggest change of CUET 2025, wherein it is giving opportunity to the students to explore subject beyond what they have studied in the class 2 curriculum. Now, this is a huge opportunity, and I request all of you to give it a deep thought, discuss it with your parents, with your peers, with your teachers, with your mentors, how you can make the best of this choice that has been given under CUET 2025. Also, the preparation strategy, that's the most important part, because most of you would be writing it in the next 5 to 6 months duration. So please focus on the core subjects. Okay, you are already going to write the exam, the board exams in the next 2 months. So use that opportunity, focus on your core subjects. Prioritize the compulsory questions. So for example, test 1, which is about language, it's compulsory. So you have to ensure that you give it priority. You get, because there's a section which tests you on your English, your language, your grammar, your comprehension skills. Please prioritize this compulsory segment and hence the compulsory questions. Also, good time to start using mock tests for adaptation. As I had mentioned, this year it's going to be completely online format. Please ensure whatever mocks you're giving are all 100% in online format. Okay, this will really give you an edge over the others who are going to use the pen and paper based study mode. So if we keep all of these things in mind, I have no doubts that with the ample support of CLAT Possible, its mentors, okay, we will leave no stone unturned to ensure that you get into some of the best colleges. So to that extent, you can, get in touch with the CP centers in your respective cities. You can also look at the online mode, because we also conduct CUET sessions online. So you can find out about that and ensure that you start just in time. So just to summarize, this year, CUET 2025, there are fewer subjects. The exam pattern has been streamlined. A whole lot of flexibility has been given to the students this year. Also, the entire objective of this exercise is to create a system that is fair, it's standardized, and most important, it's a student-friendly test environment, which does not make the students anxious as was happening in the last editions. So what are we supposed to do now? Please stay updated with the official CUET notifications. In our future episodes, we will also be sharing with you all the new changes, if there are, with you. We will also be sharing with you the strategies of how to start your preparation, your prep journey, how you can ensure that you adapt to the new changes. And don't worry, we will be arming you with the expert advice and mentorship, and you can take it through an online format, or you can come to us in any of the CP centers that's close to your where you stay, and we will be more than happy to help you. So on that note, thank you very much. Please start your early preparations. I've already aligned you on the new structures of the exam. So whatever you're planning, plan your study schedule to cover all these subjects. Stay updated. Keep watching this space for further episodes in our channel. Subscribe to our official channel. so that you don't miss out on any important information. And if you do all of that, I have no doubt that you will be well armed just in time for your CUET 2025. These are some of the numbers. If you want to get in touch with us, we have our centers in these cities: Lucknow, Mumbai, Noida, Delhi, New Delhi, is Gurugram, Prayagraj, Kanpur, Patna, Chandigarh. So you can, get in touch with us on these numbers. That's to register. You can see a QR code there. You can do that as well. So on that note, I wish you all the best for your board exams, and keep watching this space. And we will be sharing with you more episodes. And keep watching this space and keep preparing. So all the best and take care. Detail.